any of you guys see Doors Vlaanderen? Do you see Van der Poel win? Pretty good. I think he's such a good bike rider, both him and Wout van Aert. Interesting to see where they are in 5 years' time. Because it's always like, it could be like one of those Sagan things where they might be one of the greatest cyclists ever, or they might be nothing. So today I'm in limbo really. I don't really know what to do. So I woke up this morning, like I've only been up like 20 minutes. Obviously I sound congested. That's partly due to just getting up 20 minutes ago, but I'm definitely on, you know, the other side of the cold or sore throat or whatever it was I had. Airways are like fairly clear. So yesterday I just did like an hour and 15, so like 75 minutes on Zwift. Nothing, you know, nothing serious. Like zone 1 mainly, zone 2 a little bit. A while back, oh by the way, do you like my t-shirt? This is from when I went to Portugal, did the tour of Portugal a few years back. A while ago, well maybe like a week ago, I did a blog post. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you follow the British Continental on Twitter, we do a monthly blog post. I do a monthly guest blog post that basically is like, you know, 500 words, maybe like a 5 to 10 minute read, about like something a little bit off topic, or not so much off topic, but something in a little bit more detail than I normally go anywhere else. And it kind of led me to think that this topic was probably best suited for a video. It's about the Tour of Yorkshire, which the route was kind of, well, not the route, but the actual teams were announced just over a week ago. And I thought I'd let you in on it in case you missed it. So with the recent announcement of the teams running the Tour of Yorkshire, I'm really excited, because it's like last year when I rode for GLT, I had a support role to play for a number of riders. Well, just 2 riders. And there was kind of like 3 of us. We weren't really kind of sure who was in best shape and who to ride for. It turned out that said rider was actually very, very good on that weekend. So we didn't have to worry about having kind of multiple leaders and multiple pronged attacks, because it worked out fine. But with 5 weeks to go, like obviously I've talked about my cold and like we haven't got that long until Tour of Yorkshire, and my actual next race is this weekend, and then next weekend is Klondike, which is the first race of the kind of what used to be the Premier Calendar. It's the Elite Road Series now in the UK. I'm racing that, and of course from there, I think it's all provisional. 2 days after that is like, or 3 days after that is the Tour of Loire, which is like a 5-day stage race in kind of like middle northern France. It's like basically pan-flat roads, or pretty much pan-flat roads, you know, crosswinds, kind of just long days of racing in France, and it averages about 190k a day. So it's ideal prep, I guess, or cherry on top of the cake for Tour of Yorkshire. And I plan to fit in around that like some blocks of training if I can. Obviously, like this week is a total write-off. I was going to train this week and I couldn't, so it's more of like a fresh and a just recover from obviously the few months of training, and recover from whatever the heck I've got. But the key would have been to do 2 to 4 day blocks of training after the Zwift final, which was obviously last Friday. I'm doing lots of kind of specific work where I look at what I did in last year's Tour of Yorkshire, and being that the stages are almost identical, or they may be identical, we don't really know completely yet, but I know that the last stage is the same, and it started pretty much with a big climb, like a 10-minute climb, like 15-minute climb, 10-15-minute climb. And I know what power I had to do there. I was actually right at the front of the race at that point. I was trying to get in the brake. The brake actually went over the top of that climb, and I didn't get in it. But I was very, very active, kind of like in the top 10, and it was all just strung up behind going up this big climb. So I kind of know what power I need to be able to do there. And then, interestingly, when I did get kind of dropped from the front group of like 15, I think, or 20, coming into Leeds on the last stage, we came through Otley, and there was a climb out of Otley that was like 5 minutes long, and I averaged something like 384 watts for 5 minutes, which it's still like 6.5 watts per kilo, but I think I wasn't at the front of the group, and that caused me to kind of lose a couple of bike lengths. And once you lose a couple of bike lengths, that turns into like 5 seconds, and then to go 5 seconds quicker, you've got to be doing like 0.2 watts per kilo more. It all kind of adds up. I'm just kind of chucking some numbers out there, but basically I know now what to expect from it, and you know to train for it, you know to prepare for it. So that was after 4.5 hours of racing. So a lot of what I would have prepared, or maybe still can prepare, for Tour of Yorkshire, if I'm still selected, if I still go to France, all of this is kind of still up in the air right now. I don't really know what's going on, which is kind of the truth and reality of bike racing, to be honest. Much of my training up till now has been like 14 hours a week, but it's been very consistent, and I've not done I've not done any training camps. I've not done any kind of peaks either. Like I've done like the old day that's just kind of, tipped me over. Obviously riding to North Wales and stuff like that, big 7-hour days. But nothing back to back, like that. So a lot of what pro teams do when they're on training camp is 3 days on and 1 day off. And that allows them to kind of build enough recovery and enough overreaching. But of course, I've been doing that up till now, but on a smaller scale. So I've not been doing like 5 hours. I've just been doing like 2-2-2 or something, or 2-3-2 and stuff like that. But it's been a lot of intensity. So a lot of something else I wanted to do is climbing fatigue resistance. So being that third day in Yorkshire was like 3,500 meters of climbing in like 190k, which actually isn't a lot. Over that kind of period of time, I can do 3,500 meters around here in like 100k. So, I wanted to do fatigue resistance riding, where I'd ride kind of the third day of the block, just climbing. So that's something that I wanted to do. But interestingly, I still think, although it's hard to say, but I did write in the blog that I was in better shape. I'm in better shape now than I was this time last year. But it's still very hard to gauge that for 4 months of just continuous solid ramp, because not once in that time have I really felt like tired or fatigued or anything. So it's obviously down to accumulated fatigue, but it's not quite as simple as that, because the fatigue is not fatigue as you'd know it. It's definitely not fatigue as I'd know it, because stage racing fatigue is completely different to riding very, very much within yourself for like 3 or 4 weeks. A 5-day stage race in France is going to feel a lot harder than that. So it's all relative, but that was the blog post. If you wanted to check it out, you can head to the British Continental. They do a lot of articles and interviews with not just kind of guest writers, but also the likes of Matt Bramia has just done a really good post. So I'm getting pinged. I've got a lot of busy stuff to do, so I'm going to catch you again soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. See you soon.